The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Desde Brooklyn hasta el sol del Medio Oriente, José Flores con fuego en la mente. Raised in the Bronx where dreams don't sleep, donde el hambre te enseña a resistir. Section 8 life, no handouts, no cheat. He built his power from the pain on the street.
Cada golpe, cada lágrima caída fue el fuego que encendió su vida. Ahora camina con propósito y voz. José Flores, hear the noise. De la calle al combate, turned his trials into faith. Con disciplina y con fe, now he rises every day. From the block to the world sin temor.
If you ever need a haircut,
so
that these kids can learn how to play instruments or want to, not just learn, but want to. But I think that there's a major shift.
Iraq to Korea, he led from the front. Now he lifts others, never just stunts. Hoy es mentor, líder, amigo.
Yeah, welcome to the Motivated Mindset. Hey, I am your host, Jose Antonio Flores, proud Latino, born in New York City, straight out of the Bronx, raised in Brooklyn. How you doing? Check this out. That New York flavor, that hustle, that grit, it shaped me, it built me, and still drives everything I do. ¿Cómo tú estás? You here today? Gracias. Look, I'm a combat veteran who served 30 years in the United States Army. And right here, before we get rolling, I want to send a powerful salute to all my veterans, service members, and my first responders who are listening. Gracias por todo lo que tú haces. Mucho respeto. You already know. Now, in this new chapter of my life, I wear many hats, except for the school one right here. How you doing? Thank you very much. So what kind of hats do I wear? Look, I'm a motivational speaker, a certified personal trainer, a certified mediator, and yes, an end-of-life death doula, mi gente. But here's the truth. Behind all those titles, right? I do what I do because I'm called to serve, right? That's what it's about, mi gente, because I know what struggle feels like. Yo lo siento todo día. Because I know what it means to fight for a purpose and to help others find theirs. Every day, my mission is simple. You know what I'm saying to you? To inspire, to uplift, to challenge. To be a reminder that no matter where tú empezaste, where you started from, you can redefine your life with heart, discipline, faith, and relentless drive. That's why this podcast exists, mi gente. The Motivated Mindset is where we talk about resilience. We talk about culture, optimism, discipline, and the courage it takes to keep pushing, bam, when life wants to swing you down. Bien duro. You know what I'm saying? Because here, we keep it real. New York City real. You feel me? Straight talk. Bronx humor, how you doing? You've been working out, right? Cars in the yard, zero sugar coating. You're going to laugh, reflect, get fired up, maybe even shed a tear. You got any more onions, baby? You know what I'm saying to you? But I promise una cosa, one thing, you will leave here, my fuerte, stronger than when you press that play button, because this isn't just about motivation, mi gente. You feel me? It's about transformation, okay? And one last thing before we start, right? If you vibe, get that what's up with what you hear today. You hear me? If this conversation that you hear inspires you, you feel me? If you appreciate the interview, the energy, yay, and the message, all I ask for you is to support the YouTube channel. Check it out. I'll have it back up again. Hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little motivation, mi gente. Your support helps keep this powerful guest coming, meaningful conversations, and purpose-driven content straight to you. Well, you know, through the internet, right? Now, let's talk about today's guest. Yay. Today, I'm bringing on someone who is truly on a mission to make a real impact. Don Hancock is the founder and CEO of DH Consulting and the creator of Champion Mindset Framework and MIPOH, My Pursuit of Happiness. With over 30 years of experience, she has helped students, educators, families, and professionals build confidence, strengthen communication, and develop real world life skills that actually stick. What makes Dawn stand out is her unique hands-on approach, blending psychology, leadership, and experimental learning in ways that are anything but traditional. Okay. She creates environments where people don't just learn, they experience growth, develop resilience, and walk away transformed. You feel me? She's held leadership roles with organizations like Oracle and Gartner, and today continues to impact community across this country, helping people strengthen not just what they know, but how they think, how they connect, and how they show up in el mundo, in the world. One mission. One woman, one mission, make a difference now, ahora. All right, family, let's get into it. And this is the motivated mindset. All right, so we're about to make this happen.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Don, welcome to the motivated mindset.
Thank you, Jose. I really appreciate that. Listen, I got to give you your flowers right now. You come with so much energy, so much motivation, and it's real, it's authentic. I can feel it. Like I was just smiling the whole time listening to you. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for all the gifts that you give to this world. Thank you for being here, and thank you for having me.
No, gracias. Much appreciated. Thank you so much, Don. I'm just so glad to have you on here, and we're going to kick this off. And people want to know a little bit who Dawn is. You know, what makes her click? ¿Quién tú eres?
How much time do you have? No, we don't have that much time. No, I'm just kidding. So a little bit about me. I'm from Maryland. I was raised and born and raised in the country in a small town that most people have never heard of. But I grew up on a small farm. And I say that because it makes a difference. We had chickens. We grew everything from corn to potatoes and kale and cabbage and beans and peas and everything. We had a little orchard. We had 2 cherry trees. So the way I grew up, the reason why I mention is because I grew up pretty slow. But once I got into the corporate world, I started to grow up really, really fast, and things were different. But what led me to being here with you today, wanting to ask me some questions about financial literacy and about money, is that the smartest person that I ever knew, that people used to go to for advice, that could answer all the questions on Jeopardy, that person was my father. And my father was struck and killed by a drunk driver. And he had some things in place, but things weren't the way that they should have been. And I know that if he knew better, he could have done better. So that kind of drove me to be in the financial industry. And what I saw is that I felt like if people know better, they could do better. So once I started to learn, and there's a lot to learn, and every single project, every single financial product is like a flavor in Baskin Robbins. There's layers upon layers and different variances. And it's really, really tough for people to select, to know what they need, select which product fits them. And I feel like people are really vulnerable. So that led me to establish a financial education company. Now, nowadays they're everywhere, but back then there weren't any. And I knew there was a need. And I knew that all I wanted was a little slice of pie, get my foot in the door, give people what they needed. And I developed a system that helped people to write their own financial prescription. And what that means is, you know, to give them the power back. And it didn't quite take off. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I got close for it to take that next step, and it just didn't. And 2 things happened in that moment is that once I realized it, because I poured everything into it, my money, my time, my heart, just everything into it. And so when it didn't work, I had identified for so long with what I did that my identity was now broken.
Wow.
So it was like, who am I? And it was an extremely stressful time, a pivotal point in my life and also my career. And I literally had to make the decision to leave the whole industry. And so I had to go from the financial industry where, you know, I had a 63, 6, 65, 7, all the licenses, the experience, the clients, all of these things. And I had to go into a brand new field that I knew nothing about, which was technology. And fortunately, I happen to be one of those people that I love to learn. So I had a background in accounting and finance and other areas. So I leveraged that. to secure a position with Oracle as a solutions engineer, and that led to a position to be a facilitator professionally, senior facilitator, and that led me to Gartner to be a senior sales account executive. So I left one of the most sought after positions to start my own business, but we'll get to that later. Let's talk about the financial stuff.
Wow. No, that is amazing. You know, you talk about defining, or como se dice, redefining your money, your mindset. And where should someone even begin with that?
So with anything, you start where you are, right? First and foremost, if someone is looking to redefine what money means to them, it starts with, what do you want, right? What do you want? Where are you? What do you want out of life? What does money mean to you? It's asking all the questions that you never had a conversation about, and you're answering those questions between you and you. One of the things that I'll touch on later is that if we start with knowing what we want, because if you go to the store, you could go window shopping, buy anything. You go with the intention of getting something that you either need or you want, and you walk away with that. But if you go and you have no idea what you want, you have no idea what you're going to come back with, whether it's something or nothing. So knowing what you want is a good place to start.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny you say that, because, you know, where did we learn these rules, right? I mean, you know, when you said that, you know, where do we learn these rules? Is it family, culture, society? How do we know if they even serving us?
Well, it's funny thing when you say about rules, and looking at the title of this this show, is that there are really no rules that everyone can follow. It's not a one size fits all situation. Every single person is different. You don't purchase your clothes one size fits all. You might get a hat that may fit a bunch of people, but even that may not be perfect. And when it comes to your money, you want to make sure that the strategies and the planning and the things that you have set up is not just good for now, but you're basically laying the foundation for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And one thing that I want to bring light to, whomever you choose to work with, that person can do a lot for you. But there's only one person that's going to be looking at you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road to say whether you did a good job or whether you didn't. And that's you. So regardless of who helps you, you're responsible ultimately. So I would say doing your own research, asking questions of someone that you trust. There's 3 people in the whole financial industry that I personally trust with either my questions that I might have or recommending them to someone that I care about. 3 out of millions of people. And that's for good reason, because I know what they've done. I've worked alongside them. So if you're having a conversation, if you're interviewing with someone, you're not just looking at their credentials, what licenses, because I love taking tests, and some people are good at taking tests, but that doesn't mean that someone's good at what they do. So I would only interview them, look at their background and things like that, but I would also ask for references from some of their current clients or previous clients, so that you can get an idea of what it's like to work with that person and what you can expect by working and partnering with them.
Wow. No, that's, you know, when you, so for example, when let me ask you this, what do like, and you may have answers. So what do money conversations sound like in someone's home, and how does that shape the future?
Well, I have no idea what money conversations are like in someone's home. I know that sometimes conversations don't even happen, right? Sometimes we have to learn the hard way once we're out on our own and we figure it out. We hit a pothole, we bump our head, we learn from that, just like walking, right? When you're learning how to walk, you fall down many, many times. It doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that you're building that strength to be able to stand on your own and eventually to run. Same thing with, you know, financial literacy, your finances, and making decisions that are going to impact you now and later. So, you know, being open-minded and being honest with yourself, being authentic with yourself, asking questions when you have a question, and not, you know, not feeling bad about that, because you're responsible. You are.
Yeah, I think we had this conversation. I know growing up, my parents did the best they could, and I still remember the way that banking institutions were not trusted. I know where I grew up at, so my mom used to have her money in the bed underneath the mattress. We used like, what was it, the food coupons, so there was never that conversation about saving money and things of that nature. So, we have a question. I'm gonna read your question. Let's put this out. And the question says, hello, Don. What is one unspoken money rule you grew up with that you didn't question into adulthood? Yvette.
Wow, what a question. That's so loaded. I would say, honestly, I didn't have a money rule. I'm a very generous person, and I was growing up as well. And I learned when probably more recently, but I think the first, so I used to give my last monies away if I saw someone that needed it. I remember seeing a homeless person for the first time because I hadn't seen that when I was in college, and I had $20 that was supposed to last me a while. And I saw somebody, and it just touched my heart, and I gave them what I had. And so I went with nothing, so that person could have, and they probably had way more than me, now that I know. But one lesson that I didn't learn until later was that I have to be responsible for me first. And if I take care of me, then I can reach back and help others. But I can't do that unless I take responsibility to make sure that I'm okay. So giving is great, and I love doing it. There's not many things that I like more than, seeing someone smile and just being generous. But I have to do it responsibly. That's what I've learned.
Gotcha. That's pretty deep what you just say, because so where should money actually fall on our list of life priorities?
I can't answer that question. We have to answer. That's one of those questions that you have to answer for yourself. I'm not a person that, there are many people that will tell you what you should do. I'm not one of those. So I like to ask you, what's important to you? What do you need money for at all? Like, typically, usually we do things because we either need to do it, or we feel like we have to do it, or we should do it, or we may be behind. You're never behind the curveball. You start where you are. So don't ever beat yourself up for not doing something when you were 20 or 30, or, oh, look, I could have been here. Don't ever compare yourself to someone else, because everybody has to walk their own journey. You never know what someone else has gone through, and it's never too late to get started.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. Because sometimes I know in life is, especially once you have children, or even before, it's just getting ready, what money, and sometimes you didn't know you needed that money until that situation happens, and then you look back and it's like, wow, well, I should have saved, and so on, for different situations. But when we talk about like strategy and, let's say, financial foundation, what does it mean to, let's say, protect your most valuable asset, and what is that asset for most people, you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. Most people, when they're thinking and talking about money, jump right to the fun part, which is the investments. I call that growth. But the way that my philosophy, and everybody has their own philosophy, I always like to start with protection and protecting your most valuable asset. And what does that mean? It is the thing that the most valuable financial asset. Let me be clear. Obviously, our lives are priceless. But if we're talking about money and finances, someone may look at someone who has, homes and cars and vehicles and investments and say, wow, that person has a lot, right? And if this person is a young person and they look at their balance sheet and they don't have much, they may be thinking, I don't have anything because I don't have a bunch of savings and I don't have investments, but they do have something that other person doesn't have. And that's a long runway to earn an income, right? So if someone's 20 years old And nowadays, retirement age just keeps creeping up and up and up. But that means they have about 45 years more to work. So you take what they're making now, add some little bit of inflation if you want, but multiply it by 45 and tell me if you're not in the millions, right? So that's a valuable asset that most people don't realize that needs to be protected, because 25% of people will experience some kind of income loss due to illness, injury, or sickness.
Yes.
So that's an asset that most people don't realize that they're protected, or they haven't really, until you go through it, you don't know what you have. But there's a saying that you want it to be good, or there's a saying, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, because then it's too late. So that's called, I call it paycheck insurance, but it's also called more formally disability insurance. And most people think that they're covered at work, but I would challenge you to figure out what your policy looks like. And I can almost guarantee you that you're going to be good for the first year, maybe for the first 2 years, but then the whole definition changes and is not meant to replace your income for the rest of your life. So therefore, you might be in a position where all you need to do is supplement that versus, handling it all on your own. But I would encourage everyone to take a look at their definitions of what disability means and what's covered. And if you're confused by that or intimidated by that, that's okay. But find somebody that you trust to look at that for you, because it's pretty simple. It's usually only 1 or 2 pages from a group perspective at work. But it's something that you can simply solve. And if I had a whiteboard, I would do this. But if you're thinking about, well, wow, that, if I'm protecting millions and millions of dollars, how much might that cost me? But typically, I used to do an example where if you have person A and person B, person A is making 100% of their money. And if something happens to them, they don't have any coverage, they get 0. Person B makes 100,000, but they take 3,000 to protect their income. And if something happens to them, their income is replaced around, let's say, 60,000 or 70,000. So which person would you rather be? Person A, taking full risk, and if something happens, I get nothing, or person B, that's going to carve out a little bit of money to make sure that I'm going to be okay no matter what happens. So those are the types of choices that we can start with when it comes to creating a strategy. And when I say strategy, I don't mean having a financial plan and you never look at it, you never update it. I mean a strategy that's living and breathing, because that's what your money does, right? So you need to have something that is flexible, something that is, you can pivot in no matter what economic environment that you find yourself in. So as you know, markets change. That's real estate market, stock markets, interest rates go up and down, inflation changes all the time, taxes, right? So there's a lot of different elements that you have to factor in, and you never know what combination you're going to be in retirement. So the best plan is the one that you're going to stick to. One, shout out to Mr. Lester. The plan that you're going to stick with is number 1, and 2, one that's going to give you the most flexibility and the most access when you need it, and you never know when that's going to be.
Wow. We're going to take a quick commercial break. But when you come back, you have mentioned that you used to be a financial strategist, and we want to know what you do now. And to my audience, if you have any questions after the break, please have it in the comments, so we can answer them. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Here we go.
It's the guts and it's the glory, 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes, hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, pay the ultimate price. He was the man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. 'Cause Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on these front lines. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, he'll pay the ultimate price. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. March in line, march in line. Hey, hey.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
Oh, wow, welcome back to the Motivated Minds. That song just motivates me. Yay. Okay, I had to get that out. All right, sorry. Okay, so hey, we're back. Thank you, Don. We have Don back, and we have a question. So let's see. It says from Terry. What's up, Terry? Yay. She says, great information. It is good to have a living and breathing financial plan. Disability insurance is definitely good to have. Good advice to check your plan with your employer. Yeah, no,
absolutely. Because here's the thing: every year that plan could change. With the benefits that you have with your employer. They have something called a certificate that covers everybody. And what you might want to do is supplement that with an individual plan that can fill in any gaps that exist with your employer plan. But having that employer plan and having great benefits like that allows you to save money on the protection that you need for yourself. So you really just filling in the gap. But definitely, Terry, great thing to check out your plans. And if you don't understand, ask your HR, ask somebody to explain it. And sometimes they don't know. So don't be tough on them. And that's when having somebody that you can reach out to ask questions and get your answers is going to be very critical as you move forward with your living and breathing financial plan.
All right. And right before we went on break, Don, we talked about that used to be a financial strategist. And, what do you do now? And we can move toward that.
Yeah. So it will always be in my blood because I dedicated and I still help out people as much as I can with my schedule. But it is a passion of mine because I feel like if people know better, they can do better. And I feel like everybody who earns money has a right to understand and feel confident about the decision that they're making, because everybody's making decisions. Whether or not they're the best, we may or may not know, but we'll find out later. So I feel like it is important to research, but that's a tricky word because you'll ask one question and you'll get yeses and you'll get nos. And part of that is because your situation financially is very unique, just like you are. And it's so important, no matter where you are, that you understand that you can start now and you can start with where you are and move forward, as long as you know where you want to go, because no one can answer that except you.
Let me see what we got here. Okay, no question there. I didn't know what that was. All right. No, that's absolutely.
I saw something that said about a money truth. And I'm not sure exactly what that means, but what I can say is, and hopefully this foots the bill, is that money is a tool, right? We should leverage money, and there's ways to do that. But money is a tool to get something, to buy something, to provide something, to give you permission to do something, to trade something with or for, right? So the value that it has depends on what you want to do, and it depends on what someone's willing to trade with you for. So it's kind of like it's with anything. If I have I don't know, if I have some fresh baked bread and you've got some, hot burgers, we could trade, right? Because you don't have bread, I have bread. So bartering is something that has been around for years and years and years. So I think a lot of times you may have more than you think, but it just depends on matching up and having those conversations and building your community so that you can leverage what you have and fill needs that others have, and they can fill yours. So the value of money really depends on what you put on it and what you're able to get from it. Just like, real estate, your house, right? And it's like, okay, I bought my house for 500,000, and what is it worth now? Well, Zillow will give you a price and Redfin will give you a price, but that's just an estimate. It really depends on who's out there that wants your house and how bad do they want it, and if that's going to create the value of your house. So making sure that you put a value on money and money's not putting a value on you.
No, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. I know sometimes we spend half our lives making all this money chasing the dollar, and then we spend the rest of our other life taking care of our health problems because we were stressed out so much for some people, So I truly know that's good information. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have any more questions, just keep them coming and we'll be answering them. But we're going to move on to your other side. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Okay, so this is our website, and DH Consulting is an organization that really focuses on enrichment and empowerment, right? So we have 7 core values that we focus on, which is communication, collaboration, conflict resolution, organization, presentation, leadership, and confidence. And we deliver those values within fun activities, engaging activities, experiential activities. So we provide student enrichment services. We provide professional development services for corporate. We also partner with schools to do that. Family engagement, where you want to bring the community and teachers and students together to build that bond. And we also we partner with parents who are interested in giving their young adults or their teenagers that adult readiness experience. So they're not just, let's face it, real talk, we're all busy. Some people are busier than others. Some people have a lot on their plate. And as we all want to be great parents, but we all don't have all the tools that we need, and we don't all have the time. So adult readiness is really to fill in those gaps. I had home ec when I was in school. That's one thing I did have. And that was very beneficial. Like, I love to cook anyway, but I love that. I love that experience. But a lot of students don't have that. A lot of students also have a lot of other pressures that we didn't have, right? There's social media. There's all these different distractions telling them who they are and giving them their worth. And if our students and our kids don't know who they are, there's going to be people and organizations and entities out there trying to tell them who they are. And we don't want that. So one of the things that we do within our programs is hold up a mirror really, really straight and really, really tight. So the students, the adults, whomever we're working with, can see what we see. all the potential, all the greatness, all the beauty, and all the things that they have to offer this world.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, so those are our services
Mhm.
that we do. It's super duper fun, and I would say that the professional development is super fun because within every adult there's a big kid, right? And
Yes.
so when we do our professional development services, we see the kids come out. We see that part of you that we're on the sandbox again, right? We're safe, we're comfortable, we're having fun. And when that happens, now the learning can begin. Now we have meaningful conversations that you have leaders, executives now able to kind of like look at different angles of a challenge or a situation, look at change management, look at the lack of resources, look at the the problems that need to be resolved like yesterday, and leverage each other's talent and brain power to things out.
Cool. And we have a question from my brother Tony. Good to see you, brother. His question is, what is the biggest challenge you are having with working with the youth?
Honestly, I would say the biggest challenge I have with working with the youth is not being able to work with as many youth as I'd like to work with. There are many challenges that I see that the youth have, but I don't have challenges working with them. I would say that one of the things I noticed this specifically in my last student enrichment session where we were having we always have a forum at the end. So we do a fun activity, we do baking, we do art, we do something really, really fun. And then we have a conversation. And in this particular time, I let them all choose their own boomerang. They got to choose whatever color they wanted. And we talked about what a boomerang was and how when you throw a boomerang, it comes right back. So we leverage that example of a boomerang to talk about our actions, our words, and our impact in our environment and what we're doing and how that will come back, right? Just like a boomerang. And I challenge them to teach it back to me. And then I challenge them to teach a friend, right? And one thing that I noticed was that the eye contact was not here.
Wow.
It was here, it was there, it was here, it was everywhere except for, so I would do this and I would catch their eye and I would get a little eye contact to try to get them to focus and look at me. And that comes from a variety of different things. But what that did, seeing that, is that my next session, which is on April the 22nd, I've already developed a program and an exercise and an activity that is going to work on that eye contact so that they can have meaningful conversations and be present and feel good and confident about what they're saying, and they can represent themselves well, because not just where they are, but that's going to permeate through their careers, through their social lives, academic and professional lives. So that's something that I've already planned to do a two-part approach it in two parts. One, we're going to teach it, we're going to learn it, we're going to exercise it on the 22nd. And then when we come back for our last session, I'm going to challenge them to challenge me to a staring contest. They don't know it yet. That's going to be fun. And I always had big prizes. So they will all have an opportunity to practice and come back and challenge and show me how much they've worked on it, how seriously they took, and the importance that they're putting on it and the effort that they're making. So that's kind of how we always develop our programs around the need that the organization or the school has. Whomever we're working with, we want to know, what is the challenge? What would you like? What's working? What's not working? How can we, we'll figure out how we can do it, but we need to know what good looks like and what are our success metrics so that we can hit those and exceed them and come back and do more and partner with you.
Wow, that's stupendous. That sounds great. And I have a question, Dawn. So when you, like, for these, do the parents do they have the option of being there if they want, or it's just with the children?
Yeah, so there's student enrichment, which is just our organization with students.
Okay.
There's family engagement. Now that happens with the parents and the families and the students, and sometimes also with the teachers. So that is a whole different experience. And so much happens in that doesn't, like, conversations happen that don't happen at home. They're outside of that environment. The students aren't in class, the parents aren't at home, and they're having a fun, interactive, engaging experience together. And then that's when I'll always say that once we have that and all of the stress is gone and now we're just all laughing and playing, now we can have real meaningful conversations. And I listen to, and I don't speak Spanish, and you know that, SOCKS. I listened to a grandmother who was speaking Spanish to her 2 grandchildren, and I didn't know what she was saying, but I could feel every word. And those kids were just like standing there, like, I know that conversation, she expressed to them her love for them and an admiration, and they were just soaking it up. And that embrace afterwards, those are the types of moments that happen when we have our family engagement, because they have an opportunity to, I would say, confess their love in an environment that they wouldn't otherwise. Other people are looking, there was over 100 people there, right? But the students were proud to say how much they cared about, how much they loved and how much they appreciated their families. And then the families had an opportunity to say something meaningful in front of everybody to their students. That was pretty powerful.
Cool. We have another question, and it says, where do you teach? At schools, online, virtual, at the communities?
So our programs are mobile. So we typically will go to, whether it's an organization, community center, school, or corporation, we take all of our, if it's a baking or cooking activity, we have commercial ovens, we have a whole crew and professional tools and supplies that we do, so that we have a high quality experience. So we go to the location for now until we get our own space, and we're not there yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
All right. And we actually have some show and tell.
Oh, okay.
Are we ready for that? Let's do it. All right, here we go.
Okay, so this is an event at the Washington Stadium. It was for teenagers, and I got a chance to listen to them. And I still have some of the sticky notes that they wrote down. I asked them, what was the worst thing? I could see what you can tell what needs to be addressed. And we were talking about confidence. And I was like, what's the worst thing that someone said to you? And what I heard was, you'll never make it. These are football players, young football players. You'll never make it. You're not good enough. You're ugly. And I'm talking about, I'm looking at beautiful, beautiful kids, right? And then I shared with them, I was like, we had a heart to heart, and I shared with them, hey, I've heard that too. It's not just you. Do you think that I'm ugly? And they said, no. And I said, and I think you're beautiful. I think, so it's like pouring back into them. And again, holding up that mirror is so important, that they begin to see themselves and they see the good and the potential that they have. So that was a really, really meaningful event. And I was so grateful that we had an opportunity to participate in that.
Okay. All right.
So this is a family engagement event. They were making pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, and it was just such a fun time. Kids of all ages, siblings also joined from different age other schools, elementary, middle school, high school, and the families, and the feedback that we got was just amazing. They had a great time. They got to do something. They got to taste what they made, and everything was from scratch, and the whole nine. So many smiles. All I have to do before I go to sleep at night is just have a little flashback of one of the smiles from the thousands of smiles that I get, and it just fills my heart. And it's such a treat. I'm honored to do what I do.
Stupendous. Here's the next one.
Yes. So this is to the left. This one was a student only event, and each person had their own station. So they had to manage all of the ingredients and follow along with the directions and keep up. And they're learning those skills of, helping each other when they need to. So the collaboration, the organization, because they have to, measure things, they have to stay tidy, they have a small space. So it's very challenging, but the we were told that every day students say, "Is cooking club today?" They call it cooking club. "Is cooking club today?" And it's just, again, it's just so wonderful to hear students tell you that you're making a difference in their lives. Like, they're saying that.
Wow. No, that's awesome. We got another one. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, professional development, one of my
Ah.
favorites. So, yeah. So on the left-hand side, that's a life-size Tetris apparatus that you see there, and in the middle that's the chief or deputy chief of police and some other leaders in Baltimore City. They were challenged with making something that they had no idea they were going to make, and they were competing against other teams, and there's a lot of change management practice in there, but it was super fun environment. And on the right hand side, that was the end result. There was some really, really tasty things that were being made, and they were surprising themselves at their creativity and how much fun they had. And the conversation, more importantly, was, as you say, stupendous, right? We solved a huge challenge amongst ourselves that we didn't even know was there. So the activity and engagement brought out a challenge that we really literally had to work and walk through right then and there. And with everybody's input, it was just amazing.
Wow. So that is beautiful. And I think the next slide is your contact, but we have one more question that I just got from somebody. Let me see if I can bring it up.
I'm juggling a lot of things in my head.
Oh yeah, I got you. You know what? Let me see, because this one we'll answer this one toward the end because it's a money question. That's okay. We're gonna that way we stay on task with we're gonna, I just saw it right now, and we're gonna get to it. So, and I'm providing, the next slide is how people can get in contact with you, and if you can explain what we have.
Okay. So on the left-hand side, I believe that's my website. And on the right-hand side is my Instagram. I am I'm in the process of looking for social media help. So if anyone knows someone that can send them my way, please. I need help in those areas, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. It's growing. We have it, but it can be much better. And in the middle, Champion Mindset is our flagship brand. MIPOH does still exist, but it is coming soon as a membership experience. So right now it's in the phase of being developed and coming soon. But yeah, Champion Mindset is all about enrichment, empowerment, and we all have the answers. We all have something to give, and sometimes it's just a matter of having somebody to listen to, giving you an environment to explore other resources and practice those skills that are in there that just need to be a little sharpened.
Okay, all right. And as we get ready to close, we're coming down. Is there any last things you want to say about your programs? I know we talked about some of the different programs that you have in workspaces, but any last words on this and what we've discussed so far before I hit the money question?
Yeah, I think that if anybody's out there who has to have professional development and isn't eager for the next one, it's a huge opportunity connect me with your HR professionals or whoever puts together your training, and I can guarantee you that you're going to have a fun time. It's not going to be something that you'll want to miss. So I would love the opportunity to do more of that in corporate settings as well as other schools and other organizations. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, if you have if you're a parent and you have young teenagers or young adults that you think could use a little brushing up on their skills as it relates to adulthood and preparing for that, whether it's interviewing skills, cooking skills, independent skills, things like that, send me an email, reach out to us, check out our website. There's a way to contact us on there. And then for student enrichment and family engagement, if you're part of a school and you want to see what we can do to help out and enrich and enliven your organization and community, reach out to us and we'll be happy to make that connection and partner with you. So thank you so much for that opportunity.
And here's the question: if you can give one money truth to every person listening, what would it be? If you could give one money truth to every person listening, what would it be?
Pressure of just one. I would say this. I would say it would behoove you to find someone who you can trust to partner with you, to be on your team, to be your go-to, to answer questions. I'll say there's a very successful, prominent, popular person that I would say, I don't know, 10 years ago, found me on a website and said, hey, I read your profile. We had a conversation. She's like, I want to work with you. And so do your research. You know, there's a lot that you can get as far as information on people, but more than that, having that conversation, having that face-to-face, finding someone that you can trust, that you can ask questions, that can be in your corner, because it's not simple. It's not vanilla. There's so many different, it's not about what products you have. It's about the combination. It's about the strategy. It's about the plan. So you want to have somebody that is fully engaged and fully committed to being on your team and seeing you successful.
Okay. And we have another question here, which deals with money. And it says, what's one small money habit that we can start doing now that can be that can create a big shift in our life?
I would say appreciate what you have. No matter how much it is, appreciate what you have and acknowledge the fact that this is where you are now. This is not where you have to end up. You don't have to stay here. But also know that you're worth more than the money.
That
the air you breathe is worth more than the money. Your health is worth more than the money.
Yes.
Right? The time that you have is worth more than money. Money can buy things, but it can't buy another you. And it can extend your life. Right? So just make sure money is in its place. Whatever that place is, make sure that you're assigning that position to it.
No, Don, that's thank you for dropping that golden life stuff. It's about happiness, and I learned a lot always. I always learned a lot, especially when it comes to money and not letting it control me, you know, and it's all good. And any last words, anything we didn't cover that you would like to say on any subject as we get ready to close this down?
I just want to say thank you, Jose. Thank you for being you. Thank you for always bringing the energy. Thank you for being that person, the end of life doula. I don't think that you understand how meaningful and impactful that is on behalf of the people that are experiencing it, but also the families, right? So doing what you do, I just want to say thank you for doing that. And thank you for having me. And I appreciate you. So
yep. It was a pleasure having you.
Yay.
Yay. SOC gas. All right. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for being here. Your questions, awesome guest, Don. I want to say thank you for bringing your soul, your spirit, your love, your authentic you showing up. It's beautiful, you know. So I just want to say gracias for everything, and to my audience, I hope you took something away. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who showed up, and I want everybody to be happy. Have a great weekend. We got Easter weekend. Enjoy that time, however you celebrate with your family and friends, and be safe. And be happy and drink lots of water. It's getting hot out there. Safety first. Thank you, Don. Have a good one. Gracias.
Bye.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness, one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25 and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up. Stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
you're built tougher than the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.